and welcome to the Food and Beverage Leaders Podcast. I'm Andy Barr, owner of Barr Transportation. We're so glad you joined us today. Now, our mission here is very simple at Barr Transportation. It's to provide you with the most reliable and honest national transportation for your goods, paired with proactive communication throughout the entire life of the load. Now, this podcast is designed exactly for you. It's for sales managers, produce managers, logistics managers, traffic managers, the entire C-suite, anyone else who really wants to perform at the top of their game in this global food and beverage industry. So whether you're big or small, West Coast or East Coast, this podcast is meant for you. Now make sure to stick around at the end of each show and we'll reveal how you can apply to be on the show yourself so you can grow your authority, build partnerships, and help your business boom. Interviews are about 15 to 20 minutes long, and I'll leave you with my favorite quote: preparation plus opportunity equals success. That's it. I'll see you on the inside. Enjoy this episode. All right, welcome back, everyone. We have another episode today, and it's an exciting one. It's Pepperi. Pepperi is an online platform to help B2B businesses. We'll dive into that very shortly, but first of all, let's welcome Ofer Yourvexel. Ofer, welcome. He's the CEO and co-founder of Pepperi.
Thank you for hosting me. Great honor.
Absolutely. So, Ofer, we'll go into the company a little bit, but just a quick second. Before food, before Pepperi, what did you do? What was your background?
My background is like 30 years in high tech, in software, always enterprise software, serving large organizations all over the world, always international.
Outstanding. Okay, so you have the tech background and you have the international experience. And that really, I'm sure, is helpful in the food and beverage space because it's so dynamic, so global. So I guess that will lead us right into it. If you just take a minute and just very briefly and succinctly describe what is Pepperi.
Yeah, so Pepperi, we help companies that either produce food and sell it direct or distributor of food, which is more common, to sell. We're talking about companies that are selling business to business, not business to consumer. So we help them sell, typically, if it's a manufacturer, to sell to distributors, and if it's a distributor, to sell to stores. And obviously, there might be manufacturers that sell both to stores and to the distributors. So we help them in that process by giving them a SaaS-based, a software that help them to fully automate and digitize those processes. Whether the salesperson going with sort of a mobile device and selling, or the customer of our customers going into a B2B e-commerce site and ordering himself, all those different channels are managed by Pepperi.
Very good. And when you look at the industry as a whole, right, and this is a very big blanket statement here, but what is going on in the food and beverage space in your eyes that you see as CEO of Pepperi?
Okay, if I'll talk more on the micro level, if I can call it on the micro level, first of all, the COVID. What we are seeing due to the COVID is a surge in demand for B2B commerce. The food industry in general, business to business, were reluctant to move from the traditional salesperson selling to e-com selling. And what we've seen in the COVID is that all our customers that were reluctant before to use both channels came to us and now demanding B2B e-commerce solution. We had some great new sales of new very large customers that for the first time are now testing B2B e-commerce. For example, the largest food distributor in Indonesia that is launching it with Pepperi now for the last 6 months for like 90,000 businesses. Think about this number, huge number of customers in business to business. The largest distributor in Northeast US and the likes, food distributor, obviously. So this is the first thing. We see really a great move toward B2B e-commerce. The other thing is consolidation. We see it on all other sectors, but also in this sector. Which means that the smaller one needs to differentiate themselves in order to get a better price or to survive. And yes, being how should I say it, more flexible, lean and mean is becoming a necessity, and we help them with that actually, because with our platform, it's easier for them to handle all the complexities of managing different sales channels and still being lean without huge IT departments to manage the different channels. So this is another thing that we see: consolidation.
You hit it right on the head there. It's so important to be efficient and be lean and mean. Right now, everyone, definitely in the nation, if not, globally, is really feeling that uptick of inflation, of higher prices in the grocery stores, of higher prices at the gas pumps, right? So as a company, we're seeing this massive increase in food. So, you as a food shipper, right, talking to the audience of this podcast, as a food shipper, you're trying everything you can, right, to be strategic and how you place your company in the best position possible. With Pepperi, Ofer, talk to us about how Pepperi helps companies become more lean and mean, and giving their salespeople perhaps a different role, if you could.
Yeah, if you look into the past, then there was one sales channel, a salesperson visiting his customer in the field and taking orders, and this process was manual, prone to errors, and obviously not efficient. So companies went through the process of, first of all, automating it, digitizing it, using mobile devices. But then things became way more complicated, because businesses are demanding the same experience as consumers that they get used to, because all those businesses are also consumers, and they want to buy the same way that they buy as consumers, so they are pushing for e-commerce. What we do is we really help these companies that do not have the expertise, the knowledge, the resources to put together additional channel, which requires expertise, required resources, and managing it in parallel to their traditional channel. What we tell them: do not worry, we'll take all your channel into one system, help you do that without additional effort. If you already have a pricing in one of the system and you have all the customer in one of the system, it works also for the other channel. So it's really helping them to sell in the way more complex world we have today. Selling today is way more complex than in the past, and still not to invest too many resources and not to be confused from all those things. Another thing is, when you think about those salespeople, they need to transition from the old way they were selling, which was basically order taker, to being consultant, to being more marketeer, being trainers. And the fact that we do everything in the same system and the entire information is in the same system really expose them and giving them the opportunity to do those things. I'm talking now about the salespeople. They are fully exposed. It's transparent to them what's going on with the customer. It's not what we've seen in many places that we were working with, that before Pepperi, the marketing department was doing the e-com, and then the sales department was doing the sales, the hard sale. And then they're starting to compete. So instead of cooperating and selling more and being more efficient, the company is wasting resources, knowledge, and fighting internally and creating silos, as opposed to everyone contribute to sell more. I hope I answer your question.
No, absolutely. Yes. I mean, that's fantastic, because you're taking an order taker and making them a consultant, right? And of course, that's going to increase customer service. So that's a win right there, clearly, for businesses.
Actually, you spotted on an excellent point. All our customers are telling us that one of the biggest difference, if not the biggest difference, after implementing Pepperi, is that customer service that was extremely busy and noisy is silent, because the user have the information. They don't need to call, and there are no error. Everything is automated.
That's great. Yes. No, I mean, it makes sense, and it helps with the polished organizational presentation of the products. As we move on to trade promotions, Okay, so cross-selling and upselling. This could you touch on a little bit more of, okay, if buyer A wants to buy from supplier A and they look at the product, but then they get suggestions, kind of like if I'm on Amazon as a customer, I buy a product, but then I see, oh, you should also buy these tennis shoes over here. So talk to how Peppery, gives suggestions or discounts based off of volume or past performance, a little bit more of a customized approach. Yeah.
Yeah, in food and beverages, promotions are very common. The complexity is how to manage it across different channels, as I mentioned before, whether it's through telephone with a telesale, or whether a sales rep, or whether the customer is buying himself. You want all of them to be in sync. You want them to get the same promotions. And those promotions in food and beverages are extremely complex. We're talking about promotions that start from your unique price as B2B customer, continuing on from how much you bought in the last month, the size of the order that you want to increase in order to get free shipping and things like that. And then going into choosing from certain category X amount of product, and then enforcing you to choose additional product from a new category or from an old category in order to get additional discount. Things like that the system is doing and doing across the different channels is really helping the customers, our customer, to sell more. I think this covers that.
Absolutely. That makes sense, right? Because a salesperson can be talking to a customer and have one main objective in mind, but he might just not be thinking of the volume discount that his customer's just about to qualify if he makes this purchase. He might have forgot it, right? So this is bringing value and higher customer service. Yeah.
Actually, we have that whatever the customer is ordering, you can always see above the product. If you add X amount of that product, you can get additional thing, whether it's additional discount or additional product or whatever. And then when he's doing it, there's always another layer, almost always. I'm talking with the more sophisticated customers of ours. Promotion is a big thing in this industry.
Absolutely, absolutely. If you look at, Peppery, is it, suitable for all companies in the food and beverage space? Is it what's like your target sector? Do you have to be of a certain size or geography, or maybe is it specialty foods versus common foods? What's a good fit, for Peppery?
Geography-wise, we are working in like 70 countries, and we support any language needed, including Japanese and some of the more sophisticated languages. Size-wise, we are focusing on mid-size and above, so we do not work with companies that are small or tiny. I would say, at least I would say, as a minimum, $10 to $20 million in sales is a starting point to work with us. And we do serve customers of billions of dollars in sales. So this is size-wise. In terms of sectors, I don't see a limitation. Actually, food and beverages is our #1 by far industry, but we do have many other industries as well. We are very flexible. We are dealing with different things. We know in beverages in the US, for example, there are restrictions. We can cover restriction. We are working with other industries with restriction within the buying cycles that are automated. So I don't see an issue.
Very good.
With, any segment.
Okay. So closing words. If there was maybe some company news. I know the company's about 9 years old as far as the food and beverage space. Anything you want to add as we wrap up, Ofer?
Yeah, I'll just say that if you are selling food and beverages and you are looking to really modernize your system, make sure that you are selling with all the different options and really help your customer buy more and help your salespeople to sell easier and help the organization to work together and unify the sales organization. Peppery is the right company to contact, and we are on peppery.com.
Very good. And that's P-E-P-P-E-R-I, peppery.com. Ofer, thank you for joining us today, and let's all become efficient and successful. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Take
Bye-bye.
care. Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you for listening to the Food and Beverage Leaders Podcast. I'm Andy Barr with Barr Transportation. Now, if you are a successful leader in the food and beverage space, believe in your company, and want to share your story, really look no further. All you have to do is go to bartrans, BAHRTRANS.com/podcast/apply to apply to be on the show. Lastly, if you enjoyed listening to our show, please consider sharing the link or a screenshot on your social media accounts. We want to help as many people as possible who truly believe education and discussion is where it all starts. Of course, if you know someone that would be a great guest, connect with us, and we'll explore to see if it's a good fit. Again, thank you for listening to the Food and Beverage Leaders Podcast. And as always, we'll leave you with our favorite quote: preparation plus opportunity equals success. Now go crush life, and we'll see you again soon.